In this tutorial, we're going to show you how to participate in an online live class. So in the previous video, we mentioned that we have to have our 3 check marks. And now this page I'm going to call the class details page. And this will be open in the background. It has my button here to launch a class, and it has links to all of my labs. So first things first, let's launch our class. So to do that, I simply click on this button. And here it comes. So you can see where your instructor, in this case that's me, has shared a window. And this is one of the first things we want to talk about. There are multiple windows that will be used during your class. And to move them, all you have to do is simply click on the top here and drag them. Now in my case here, I have multiple monitors. We actually recommend that you have more than one monitor when taking an online live class, because I can take this one window and now you're going to see it go away, but I can drag it right off onto my second monitor. So this is your class. You have a chat room here. You have the ability to talk to your instructor using this button. One of the things you want to do to make sure, if you have a microphone, if you have a headset set up, is go to the tools menu, come here and go through the audio setup wizard. And so here I could pick my microphone, I could click on OK, and when I click on play, I could hear a woman's voice. And I could say, yes, I hear that, and click on stop and say, I've heard it. And then I would go here and say, here is the microphone that I'm using, and say I'm a single talker. And when I click on record, you see where I'm making the lights blink. And when I click on stop and hit play, again, if I had my headphones on, I could hear my voice. And when I click on stop, I'm now done. I've got my audio set up. And so that's one window that you will have here. And then your instructor will talk about these buttons when they start the class. Now let me show you what it looks like if your instructor shares their application screen. So here your instructor has shared a screen where they're running Microsoft Excel. And if you put your mouse on the edges of this window, I can resize it. And in this case, the screen stays the same size. I can, again, click on the top here and drag this around. I could actually drag this onto the second monitor. The other thing you can do with this screen is if you go to the top and put your mouse at the very top, you'll see in the upper left-hand corner, you have the ability to, right now it's set to scale to fit. If I click on this, it shrinks it down. I can see their whole window now. And you'll see if I resize this, I still see their whole window. It is scaling to fit. And whereas again, if I go up to the top here and click, I can turn that on and off. So that is your instructor screen. And again, if I wanted to move this, I just click on the top bar and I'm going to drag this over onto the other monitor. Now something else you can do is you may be asked to open up a lab. So here I've got a launch button. If I click on this, it opens up again another new window that you can resize if you'd like. And you'll see where it says it takes a few minutes for this to launch. So here is my lab. I can click on continue, and they call this a virtual machine. I've got a start button here on my machine, and I could go here, and if I was taking this case in a Microsoft Excel class, I can come here. It operates just like any other machine. The advantage is you have the software, you have the exercise files, and if needed, you have the ability for your instructor to come in and help you on this actual machine, and if you get stuck on something. So this is your lab, and just like any other window, I can click up here and drag it around. I can resize it if I need to, and reposition it. So I could actually have my instructor's screen on one side and my screen on the other monitor, and be clicking along with the instructor. Depending on how you have your computer set up, here we have ours grouped together. All the Internet Explorer icons are together. You may have multiple ones across your taskbar, but you can switch back and forth between the screens by going down to your taskbar. In some classes, your instructor may actually send you an example file, and let me show you how that looks. So here I can see my instructor is sending me a file here, salesrevenue.xlsx. And obviously you want to save that. So when I say yes, the big key here is you want to look up here where it says save in, because wherever you save it doesn't really matter, but you have to be able to go back and get it later. So in my case, to make my life easy, I'm going to say throw this on my desktop. So you can see I clicked on desktop on the left hand side. I've got my save in. I'm going to save it on the desktop. And when I click on sales revenue here and save, I'm saving this file, sales revenue, to my desktop. So if I actually come down here on my taskbar and click on the show desktop, there's my file, sales revenue. And again, to go back to my class or my lab, I can come over here on the taskbar. Here's my details, and here is my lab. So here again, we've got all these different windows. Here's the window for the video. And again, just click on the top of the window and you can drag it anywhere you want. Here's my instructor screen that they shared with me. I can resize this by grabbing the corners and resizing it. And then if I want to move it, again, click on the top and just drag where you want it to go. Here is my lab on demand. I know that because it says right up here, lab on demand. Again, I can resize. I can maximize this if I want, and it takes up the whole screen, or I could click on it, drag it wherever I want, and then I've got my detail screen for my class, which will allow me to launch my labs. One thing I do want to show with lab windows is if, let's say I was going to lunch and I wanted to close this lab but save where I was at, again, don't want to click on this red X, want to click on this exit and choose save and close lab. That'll keep right where you are, so when you come back you can launch that lab and pick up right where you left off. So when I click on this, it says, hey, you're going to save your changes, and I'll say absolutely. And then it says, okay, now you can close your lab. That's when you would click on this X, and you'll see where this is set here, showing that I'm halfway through that lab. When you're done with the class, simply go over to your class screen and you can click on File and choose Exit, and that's how you get out of your class. You can always go back later in your details class after the class and watch the recordings of the class. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. And as always, if you have any questions, always ask your instructor. If you're at a training center, ask one of the employees. We are always more than willing to help you.